Happy New Year's 2025. What's going on? HellaBass Live back. Believe it or not, this is season 6 HellaBass live stream. Pretty crazy. So we'll be labeling that as season 6 in the MP3 podcast world. As always, HellaBass Live, presented by Arsenal Fishing, boosted by Prowess Lithium. There'll be codes down in the description if you want to check any of those out, but you can go to HellaBass 15, save Arsenal Fishing, and HB10 will save you 10% on lithium batteries if you want to grab them. As always, just want to get that out there. Tonight, the plan is to basically talk predictions, what's going to go on with like AOIs, winners, leagues, and talk about plans for the channel and answer any questions anybody's got about anything. We can just kind of tackle those. Like if there's any, if you want me to look into the Hella crystal ball and give you my opinion, we'll cover that stuff tonight. And Dustin's off work, so all is grand. The Vikings are kicking butt, so that's good. Skol. If you can sweep the Packers, life is good. And yeah, fun. Simulcasting on the TikTok, Instagram, but most of you guys will be on Facebook and YouTube. New Year's Day, wasn't sure, didn't want to bother anybody about being a guest, so we're just gonna kind of tackle it solo. Yeah, good. Lightning M. Hope everyone catches their personal best. That would be awesome. Absolutely. So, yeah. Where do we start? We'll just feel free to fire out some. We got some new members, some people that won memberships last week in the Christmas giveaway. So I see there's some people, some member badges. Boat talk. You want to talk about boat? I mean, my boat is for sale. The Camus, the Slamus is for sale. You can find details on my Facebook page, like I posted on the community page on the YouTube. I have it on my website. My plan was always to hopefully fish out of that boat for 2 to 3 years, sell it, and then get a new boat. So if, with the economy and interest rates and with all the boats that are in the market, if I can somehow to navigate all that and still get a fair price for that boat, then I would like to order another new boat with Intune Marine. Yeah. Rob Kilty, I only know what you guys probably saw glimpses of on social media about the Dobbins thing and them consolidating facilities in Texas. So I don't really have any information that anybody else doesn't have. So I'm really not going to elaborate or comment at this point, but hopefully we learn more in the next week. Obviously, it's on a holiday. Doesn't sound awesome, but when we know something, I'll be happy to share. I am not going to reveal my boat and motor plan. I mean, I love the Camus. It really will come down to once the boat actually sells, or we're close to it. Well, there you go, Jerry. Hit me up. Camus would be an awesome boat. But really, we'll kind of talk with Brian Bankston and the guys at Intune and what makes the most sense for both of us. Other than that, let's see. Still waiting on a box from Punch Fishing so that I can get one more thing shipped out. So one of you is waiting. I think it's Vic is waiting patiently to get his stuff. Will I wrap the new boat? That is a potential. I thought about doing something with the old boat. Maybe now. That is something we definitely consider with the new boat. We'll see. I mean, yeah. So I mean, Camus, Phoenix, Vexus. You can narrow it down to those three. That's all the Intune carries. So, unless I get one of those pontoons, be pretty sweet. Jim G switched over to YouTube. Honestly, MJ, the boat wrap would be more just like I don't really want a boat wrap. I actually thought on the opens, I thought it was more unique not to have a boat wrap than to have a boat wrap last year. And I really liked the way my boat looked, to be honest. And but it protects the boat. So from a resale, if I'm gonna, sell it every 2, 3 years, kind of some of those minor dings and scratches and rubs takes a little easier. So I'm not gonna wrap it just for the sake of wrapping it, but if people want to what the partners want to do something, I definitely would consider it this time around. A clear boat wrap. I think people have done that. I want to say there was somebody the first year in the Elite Series actually. Was it maybe like Joe Thomas had a clear boat wrap because I think he still had one of like the ultimate match fishing boats, and it was one of those OG ones where they actually like did the graphics painted gel coated in, and so he put a clear wrap over it because Bassmaster said the rules were you had to have a wrap, so he just put a clear wrap over the UMF boat he had, I believe. Or what if you just get a wrap that basically matches your boat? Like you just wrap it with the design of your boat. Did I get anything good for Christmas? And I would love to hear anybody in the chat. If anybody got anything good for fishing, let me know. Fun fishing gifts. I got some clothes, and I think I got a pack of craws that my wife got for free at Grand Lake. She put them in my stocking. Got some candy. Didn't get much. Honestly, my wife and I are supposed to go to Mexico in February. We decided we would just that would be our Christmas gift to each other. So we really didn't get each other much. So I didn't get a Omnia gift card from my mother-in-law like normal. Yeah, metallic wraps would be cool, Boja, to like keep the characteristics of the bass boats, the glitter rockets, the metal flake, and still get the branding. That'd be kind of neat. David scored some Omnia gift cards. Nice. Trevor got the Arsenal fishing pliers from his daughter. Sweet. What's up, Steve? Jerry got himself a couple cranking rods. Jeremiah Shaver got some whatnot stuff for himself. I haven't been buying much on whatnot. I've been lurking everything. Like I was the guy that had a crazy big mega bass lot today that I watched for a little bit. Ryan spread the joy. He gave fishing stuff. There you go. I did most of that on stream on live. Darius got himself another fishing rod. All right. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start talking about like what my plans are? I see TK over on Instagram. What's up, TK? Or do we want to start with like talking BPT, Bassmaster, that kind of stuff? Jim G. Lopez got a bunch of 6 cent baits and a Milwaukee drill set. Nice. So we can either start prognostication on the tours or personal plans, channel stuff. Trevor says, let's start with my plans. Well, yeah, Caleb, I touched on that briefly if you want to rewind a little bit. But so I guess my plans, I think most people have heard on the channel. Um, that I will be fishing not fishing the Bassmaster Opens. That was kind of a one and done thing. I was really trying to see what it was like, try to make it classic. None of that stuff worked out. You've been selling them on whatnot, Jerry? Anyway, so I applied and I got invited and I put my deposit in for the 2025 Classic Bass Champions Tour, which is local here in the Minnesota area, and that's what I'll be fishing next year. So I plan on bringing the videos to that, covering that. If there's a way to do live during it, that might be something I might try to do. So that's the main tournament focus for next year. Man on a Mission says, I'm not going to fish Leech again. Maybe, but I did not sign up. Depends how the year goes. If we get to be like July, August, the year's going well, things work out, there's an openings, then maybe I'll throw my name in. But at this point, I'm not dying to fish the Leech Bassmaster Open. Without fishing them all, that's really the token. So on top of that, we already qualified for the 2025 Bass Nation National Championship, was in late October in La Crosse. So that's, stack that with the 3 tournaments plus, I definitely plan to make the Tournament of Champions, the TOC, the championship for Classic Bass. So hopefully that's a 4th tournament, and then fishing the Bass Nation Championship in La Crosse. And then, definitely want to fish our Bass Nation State Championship, which will be out of Winona on the Mississippi River in August. So those are like that definitely does the practice, and that kind of overlaps with the Champs Tour. So we're gonna have to be creative with our practice for that and the Alhamadu Chain tournament. So those are like the pillars. Those are like the, I don't know, 5 or 6 pillar tournaments that I'll build my schedule around for next year. And then I might mix in some BFLs in La Crosse because I'm going to be down there fishing anyways. I might just try to stay in La Crosse. At one point, Sobe had verbally agreed to fish with the St. Jude for me. So I need to follow up with him, see if that's still a thing, because that would be a way to stick out there, which would put some pressure on the whole boat situation, because you'd have to have the boat all situated by basically mid-April. So we'll see. Note to self. Need to send the note to Sobe to see if he is actually going to keep his word about fishing the Jude. So Bart, if you're watching, next time you talk to Sam. And then on top of that, I might try to sneak in some like TBF Team Trail, fish the TBF state tournament if that's possible, and the semis. So if it all works out, maybe building out to like a 10 or 12 tournament schedule, and then maybe a couple of fall tournaments in the fall, like the fall brawl and the high school Tonka thing like that. Chat's popping with celebs. Yeah. Satike. Yeah, we'll see. Full court press. Maybe we can work that into the Pass the Barb Q&A session coming up on a future podcast. Adam does Bartusek does a lot of the media, the camera work for the Champions Tour. I will be doing some weekly play-by-play hockey stuff. So I do the play-by-play for my daughter's hockey team on a separate YouTube channel. TK peeking in. Yeah, Minnesota State is out of Wabasha, Shaver. It's like early August. Is it no, sorry, Winona. Sorry, Winona. Yes, pool 6, 5A, 6, and 7. My bad. I don't think I ever had a Sunset Teaser Megabass Hot Max, did I? If I did, I sold it a long time ago on whatnot. Dustin, want to fish the 10K on pool 10 this year? I've had my Dustin Bliss ask me to do that a couple times. Uh, I feel like there's always a conflict for me, but I wouldn't be 100% against meeting you there, Dustin, and fishing it. Let me know. Good reminder for Carol. Hit the like button. Happy New Year. Yeah, for not ever playing hockey, I'm not too terrible at doing play-by-play. Jerry's thinking about going to the LBL or going to the Illini. Oof, I think the Illini is pretty brutal, isn't it? What's up, Jig Squad? Star in that, Nate. We'll get into that in a second. All right, what else is new for me? Uh Plan on going to the Classic. I don't necessarily, but I do plan to be at the Classic as a spectator, as a media person. So that, if anybody's going to the Classic, keep in touch. We'll definitely try to have some kind of meetup, maybe at the Powerhouse Lithium booth on one day or something like that. So that's part of my plans. The other thing I want to do more of, I've been dabbling with the live on the waters. And I think this year I'm definitely going to invest in some kind of mobile hotspot to try to do more lives, because just relying on my cell phone doesn't seem to be enough bandwidth to pull it off. But I'm going to definitely do the research, hopefully come up here and come up with a better system. So I'd like to do more lives on the water where I have a guest in the boat and do challenges, either like just bring you along, which is okay. But I also want to do more challenges where it's like two people in the boat, or remote challenges. Like Bart is up on a lake by his house on Clearwater, and I'm down in a lake by New Prague, and we set up some kind of challenge. We agree upon, whatever, first to catch 5 fish or best 5, or, we might change it up depending if we think the fisheries, like if one's a big numbers fish, the other one has bigger fish, to come up with some kind of, yeah, maybe Starlink Mobile. Definitely need to work on that because I want to do some more of this. I think that's the future. Like, while doing good videos and stuff is cool, and actually my videos have been doing pretty well on YouTube lately, but to do live in a meaningful, interactive way, I think really can be the future. Um, and so I want to do some of that stuff. So, you know, I, you know, whether it's guys that are local, guys that have channels, guys that don't have channels, we can do simulcasts. With StreamYard, there are ways to, have it streaming on my YouTube, my Facebook, somebody else's Facebook, somebody else's YouTube, all at the same time. And I think that'd be a really cool way. And I think having two people talking with like Bluetooth earbuds and kind of talking about what they're seeing, what they're catching, kind of giving each other, the business, a little trash talking, that kind of stuff, I think could be a fun way to really do something cool, and bring all of you along, right? So we might, and then maybe even the summertime when we have late nights, maybe instead of doing like Wednesday night lives, we'll start the lives at like 5 o'clock and go live from the water and go fishing. So that is definitely something I want to do. And if there's a way to do, wouldn't it be cool to like do a challenge, like a 3 fish 2 hour challenge against Matty Wong, and then like he's in like Tennessee and I'm in Minnesota, and we come up with some unique rules so we feel like it's even, like catch one with scope, catch one without scope, catch one on a spinning rod. You got to, or bonus points. I think there's some creative things we could do to do that. And if there's people, members and people that are fans, that want to participate, you know, absolutely would love to do some challenges with people in the community if they're up for it and they want to do that. Yeah. Punch says he'd be in. But even I think that's the cool thing about doing the mobile thing is like, it's hard to get schedules to align when everybody's got a free 4 hours or whatever. And I think like Punch goes fishing to Wisconsin almost every weekend. So if he's up in Hayward, he's going to be out fishing for 4 hours anyways. Well, then I could go fishing somewhere else, and he doesn't have to leave his family, and we can do a challenge remote. And yeah, multi-species challenge, largies, pike, smallies. You can have minus points for catching pike. Minus points for rock bass. Um, the other thing is, it really would be helpful if, and this is the tricky thing, the dream scenario is to be able to have some people that can moderate and be at a computer helping with the live chat and the comments and like relaying the questions like Brian did once. I think Brandon did it once, but like that's tricky to like it's because usually if it's a beautiful day and we got a live lined up, the people that would want to do that want to be out on the water. So dream scenario is if there's a way that we could get some partners to help support this once we get it running to make it worthwhile. So like, you know, could I give somebody $50 or $100 to do that mod work so it'd be worth their while not to be out fishing? Something like that. I don't know. I have heard about the Starlink mobile. Clay says he doesn't fish a lot. Yeah, so if there's people that are too hot for them, if anybody's interested, definitely if you definitely have an interest level and you think that's something you want to do to help moderate, and I'd like to have a stable of 2 to 5 people that could be potentially kind of called upon to do that to help out. And if there's any way that I can like help you out, get you some discounts on something, ship you some tackle, make it worth your while, we'll definitely try to work something out because I do realize that there'd be benefit. Yeah, we could definitely do some Omnia gift cards, something like that. So we'll figure something out. Yeah, Southern moderator doesn't want to be in the heat. So yeah, you don't have to be typing. Honestly, little typing. Honestly, all I need somebody to really do is be logged into StreamYard on their computer, and it could be on a tablet, honestly, with their headphones in, and you don't even have to be on camera. You can go like off camera, but voice on, and then like basically just tap and put up comments, and then when it's like Brian wants to know why you're not throwing a frog, tell us why, or you know things like that, or basically just when the chat has a question or somebody's like, oh, I need a scoreboard update, they can read that, things like that. So that's the idea. So you don't really need to be on camera. If you can read at a 5th grade reading level and push buttons, you'd be all set. You basically would be just like the relay of the questions into the earbuds for the people fishing. So that's an idea. I definitely that's a thing I want to push for sure. So people that are interested, let me know. If you want to go back, you can watch. I did a live. Was it last year? Was it 2 years ago now? We were out. It was like a frog fishing challenge live. That had Pat in my boat, and Brian was being the moderator. So that'd be a good example if anybody wants to watch it, how that went. Uh, so, and then obviously I want to do more member lives. We got to get back. We need to go double on those during the winter because I know I'm bad about that. But I definitely could see if I could get that figured out with the Wi-Fi stuff for some of these tournaments. I definitely could see going member live for practice for a little bit. So I think that would be a way to bring more bonus content for the members, would be to do little like, hey, I'm going to go noon to 2 during practice, bring you along. And that also would be helpful to have a moderator to be like asking questions and reading stuff. because I'm going to be focusing on practicing. So I don't want to be reading a chat. So that'd be fun. So those are some of the things I want to do, and I think that would be a unique way to bring some really cool value for the membership, to go live during practice, to get some real behind the scenes type juicy nuggets. So that's kind of my idea there. I mean, the watch parties are fun. That's kind of cool. Um, but that's the other stuff I want to do. I definitely want to do a hoodie, like some merch. We did the stickers, we did the t-shirt. I definitely want to do a hoodie merch. And I have some idea for some digital assets that I've been kicking around in my head for a long time that I would definitely give away, hopefully to members, and then could be for purchase. Uh, yeah. Is anybody handwriting so bad they can't read their own handwriting? All right. Oh, and then fantasy fishing will be back. I do need to reach out to Bassmaster to make sure I'm going to be a pundit, but we definitely will be firing up the beat HellaBass here really soon. I think that's a niche for sure. Actually, there's a guy named the Latin Bass Assassin that's been going live almost every day on Gunnersville. He's actually been doing a pretty decent job. All right. Yeah. I mean, if you subscribe and you have your notifications on, Carol, I do a video every single week, which should be a reminder to put your lineups in. So I don't know if anybody else had, that's kind of my notes I had for my plans to go bigger and better. And then just hopefully more content, like more videos on the channel. Keep pushing content, shorts, live streams, long form content. We're pretty much caught up on tournament videos. Seems like people are, even though the national championship was my worst tournament in I don't know how long, a lot of you guys are uh, liking that video. Baitman, I don't know anything firsthand. Everything I've heard is that it's true and they're consolidating, but I haven't talked to anybody firsthand from Dobbins in the know. But I did hear, I ran into somebody that I used to work at Northland Bagley, and he retired when GSM bought them, and they are, for the most part, have consolidated everything out of the Northland Bagley facility down to Texas. So, I mean, that's kind of what companies do when they do mergers. Oh, Tyler, were you the Visor Gang champ? Because I actually need to send you something. Send me a DM, Tyler. Oh, well, watch him on loop, Sam, and get well. What are you doing, Junkwood commenting on Instagram, but he's already gone. Yeah. Hopefully we'll learn more. Doesn't sound like a great deal. Doesn't sound like what Gary had envisioned when he was on my live stream earlier this year by any means. I mean, if you go back and listen to what Gary said, this didn't seem like it was in the cards, at least anytime soon. Supposedly they're supposed to be coming out with a new line of rods, but oh well. Yeah, I don't know anything firsthand, so I don't want to speculate too much. What's up, Lee King? Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's to everybody that came in a little late. Numbers have been kind of climbing here. So that's kind of my plans. And then I have plans to like rework the Bassman or the Baitman short where he falls over like at least 10 different ways this year. So stay tuned on, Instagram and TikTok for that kind of stuff. So we are going to take a 1-minute break, then we'll come back and talk pro fishing and some of my thoughts.
Are you ready to reel in your next home purchase or refinance? Supreme Lending's Dream Team can help guide you through the entire mortgage process, from pre-qualification to closing. We have a wide variety of home loan programs in our tackle box, including down payment assistance and first-time homebuyer options. You can ask HellaBass. He trusted us to help finance his home. Contact the Dream Team today by searching Supreme Lending Dream Team, or click the link below in the description, or scan the QR code on your screen.
All right. Thanks to the Dream Team. We're back. New year, new you, new house with a place for your boat in the garage. Hit up my buddy Aaron at the Dream Team. He did, Ruben. He did. Well, Phil, let's go in there and they might not be there next week. Don't be so sure about that. All right. Talking pro fishing. Let's start with BPT because we know that's everybody's favorite. Um, you could just subscribe, Drunkwood, and then you could comment. It's not that hard. It's free to subscribe. It really is. So BPT, AOI. Here's my thoughts on AOI. I think the logical and the most likely scenario is that Jacob Wheeler wins AOI again. Big shocker. I think the fact that they have now added another layer of complexity and strategy to the game for the Bass Pro Tour is even more likely that Wheeler widens his gap in dominance, because it already feels like Wheeler and maybe a couple other guys. Okay. Um, like he's already like steps ahead. He's playing chess, they're playing checkers. And I think TikTok just warned me. I think I put this pen in front of my face and they said something about tobacco. I think they thought I was vaping on there, which is funny. Anyways, so the fact now that we have this like one period with scope and two periods with not is a strategy element that like levels up the strategy like exponentially. And I think Wheeler is just going to take advantage of it. You're just going to see him like always make the right move, and other people are going to take like 2 or 3 tournaments to figure it out. Now, I do think there are some anglers that will fall off because they're really good at scoping, and obviously Wheeler was really good before scope. So I see no reason. I don't think he's going to be he's going to put the time in. He's going to be prepared. I just think he widens the gap. So that's like my gut, my head pick. My heart, I'd love to see Drew Kill do it. Like he's such like an intelligent angler and he speaks so well, and I love watching Drew Gill and listening to him. And everybody thinks he's only a scoper. So I would love and to see him have a really good year with the limited scope. So that's my thought. There you go, Drunkwood. Way to be part of the team. This is a special occasion. We are going to put fireworks off because Drunkwood subscribed on YouTube. He listens to every episode while he cuts his little wood pieces and does all his things in his shop. And now he's finally subscribed. So glad that you finally broke down, John. And yeah, so I think it'd be really cool to see Drew Gill do well, but I think we're going to see Wheeler dominate, and we're not going to see any slowdown on that. I think you'll still see some of the other guys. Connell will be right up there. I think he's like right up in that same realm. Elton Jones. It's going to be the same guys at the top. They've already figured out how to play this game, and I think they're all good without scope, and I think they're going to widen the gap. Yeah. I mean, Wheeler, he knows how to practice. He knows how to catch just enough fish. He'll know how to he'll know when it's the right time to go, full ham first period scope and put up big numbers and then coast. And he'll know the events where he can run a shad spawn or he's got a different deal and he'll save the scope for the third period and he'll almost always make the right decision. And I think it's just like this is going to create even a bigger gap on the BPT. So that's my thoughts on the BPT. I don't know if anybody else has any strong opinions otherwise, or anybody that believes it. Like I know somebody said they were pulling for Ott. I mean, there's a lot of guys to pull for, and I think we'll see more shakeup maybe on like who wins the events. Like I don't think maybe Wheeler and Cannell win as many events maybe in this new format, but I think their consistency, the AOY gap at the end of the year will be even bigger. Drunkwood says, "Will we see a big retirement portion bit after this year?" Rose Reese, I didn't take the time to rerun all the numbers and do the math to find out who's now on the cut line. So I don't know, but there's definitely 15 anglers going home at the end of this year because they're going from 65 to 50. So there's definitely going to be some names missing, but like they're inviting 5 new anglers from the invitationals, but only 3 of the 5 invitationals anglers actually took their invites this year. So that saved 2 more anglers on the BPT this year. So it's interesting because it's hard to figure out what's going on. They're always going to protect the people that are already there, except for the people that are rookies like Matt Steffen who got hosed. So yeah. I mean, I think this as a overall, like points wise, MJ, I agree. I don't think like all of a sudden we're going to see Skeet Reese and Mark Rose and all these guys competing for AOIs, but I do think it gives them a little better chance to maybe pop off and win a tournament or have a top 10. But when you average it over the year, it's still going to be Wheeler and Cannell and those guys dominating. I don't think we're close to a merger jig squad, honestly. I think we're still a ways out, but I could be wrong. This would probably play well for Thrift. I could see Thrift closing the gap a little under the new format. Anyways, rookie of the year, as far as I know, there's only 3 rookies. It's Jake Lawrence, Marshall Hughes, and Colby Miller. They're the only 3 rookies that accepted their invites. So I don't know that I really want to come up with a rookie of the year. I guess Jake Lawrence, just because I know him and I know of him and he's a stone cold catcher and he's good at fishing and he was good before front facing sonar, so I think he'll do just fine. And I'm sure the other guys are really good too. I just know Jake Lawrence more about him. And everything I know about Jake Lawrence seems like a pretty stand up dude. So I'll probably be pulling for him. Not very exciting when there's only 3 rookies. Yeah. The other 2 I didn't know of before Scope. And I knew about Jake Lawrence before Scope. So that's that. AOI, Bassmaster Elite Series. I don't know if there's anything else to even ask about. I'm not going to run down the schedule and pick winners for the BPT. I don't know enough about the cut line to prognosticate who's going to be in and who's out. I haven't done the math. So we'll just move on to the Bassmaster Elite Series. So I think AOI is honestly, as much as it pains me, I think Trey McKinney is the odds-on favorite to win Angler of the Year next year. Unless there was, assuming that he was playing above board and by the rules and everything checks out, he was hands out the most dominant angler last year outside of a phone call. So, and Milliken said he's fished with him, and Milliken seems to think he's legit and doesn't think there's anything shady about Trey McKinney at all. So if that's true, then he should be an odds-on favorite to win Angler of the Year as dominant as he was last year. On the flip side, I'm pulling for Patrick Walters. I've been saying this for 5 years now. I feel like that Patrick Walters is he's in the top 5 every single year of AOI. He has to get one of these years, and that's who I'll be like rooting for. But I would have done a lot better in fancy fishing last year if I would have picked Trey McKinney almost every single event, and I avoided him every single event. There's something about him that I just have a hard time pulling for him. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. It sounds like a me problem, but I don't know. Rookie of the year, I think I can't honestly pick anybody but Easton Fothergill. As down as he was in the EQs, as good an angler as he's been in Minnesota, as good as he was in college. He won 2 Bassmaster Opens, which has nobody done in like 20 years. And back then, the field wasn't nearly as staunch. We had him as a guest on the live. You guys can see how analytical he is. I think, yeah, Easton Fothergill for sure, Rookie of the Year. Now, I don't think it's a slam dunk. Like, there's definitely, in my understanding, and I haven't seen a published list of this, but I would assume that Cody Meyer and the little guy, I can't think of his name, from Texas, the guy that came from MLF, Dakota Eber. Thank you. Yeah, I assume Dakota Eber and Cody Myers have made too much money to be actual rookies and considered for Rookie of the Year. So, I mean, I think both of them have legitimate chances to have the points, but I don't think they would be considered for Dakota Eber. Yeah, that's my thought. Myers and Eber, I don't think can win Rookie of the Year. So we're talking about Fothergill, the $1 million kid, who was I should have the list up in front of me. Oh, I had an article up today. Yeah, so we're talking about Fothergill, Tucker Smith, Paul Marks, Emil Wagner, Andrew Loberg, Bo Browning, and then Evan Kung, who we had on a couple weeks ago. Yeah, Tucker Smith. I will be pulling. I mean, Easton and Emil Wagner are both powerhouse guys, both likable dudes. Both of them have been guests on the stream. I bet both of them in person. Both really good dudes. No trouble pulling for them. And I think the other guy to think about here would be Andrew Loberg as a sneaky Rookie of the Year pick. I think that's what it is, Dustin. He comes across as a spoiled, snot-nosed kid. I don't know. There's just a vibe that's not super likable. Like, I'm pretty sure I saw him at the Classic after he won Lake Fork, and his mom was with him pulling his elite trophy in a wagon for him. I don't know. That just yeah. I mean, yeah, I think honestly any of them could win it. They're all very good anglers, all 7 of them. But I think there's definitely some that you definitely give a little more credence to. If if you're putting a betting line here, right, there would definitely be odds for them for sure. So very nice, John. Classic. Anyways, so that's my thoughts on the Rookie of the Year. Over under, how many of the 12 new anglers are going to make the Bassmaster Classic in 2026? right? So we got the 9 EQs, right? The 7 rookies plus Eber plus Myers, and then we've got Randy Howell, and then we've got Cliff Pace coming back on their Bassmaster Classic winning Legends exemptions, and then we have Blake Capps, the Bass Nation. So how many of those 12 make the Classic? I think 9 of them do. 8 to 9 of them. Just like this year, I'm going to say 8. I'm going to say 8. I'm going to say 8 of the 9 EQ anglers make it. I'm not so sure about the other guys. I'm concerned that the old guys may have some good events, but like you saw what happened. The EQ anglers that came in last year, they pretty much all 9 easily made it. And so now that's like, right, we got 45 spots for the Elite Series. Do you think any of those 9 are going to just magically fall out? So now we're down to like 35 spots. It's just like these young anglers are going to keep coming in and they're going to keep pushing a lot of these veterans down out of that classic cut, I think. So I think 8 or 9 of the 12 make it, and I don't think it's the veterans. So we'll see. I'm surprised you yeah, that's kind of where my head's at, RJ. Thomas says Randy's winning a blue one. I mean, that'd be cool to see. John, I'm surprised you're saying only 4 out of the 12 make the Elite Series. So you don't think, so I mean, like Fothergill, Myers, Eber, Loberg, you don't think any more than those? I mean, those are got to be the favorites. I mean, I think guys like Wagner, Adams, the rest of the EQ list, I think they're all pretty strong. I don't know much about Blake Capps outside of Oklahoma. Jerry Hall says only 6. So let's see. Century belts. I think Fork almost certainly will be a century belt. There's a couple like St. John's could maybe flirt with it. Okeechobee could flirt with it. But I think if we get a second century belt, it's probably Lake St. Clair and it'll be smallmouth. If they get good weather at Lake St. Clair, I think we could see a century belt there. What's up, Miguel? Lee says 6 of the open guys will make it. I definitely think, like, if we're talking 12, I definitely would take the over if it's at 6. Jerry Hall says he's expecting some comebacks. You know, it'd be interesting to see, like, are there going to be some elite guys that are journeyman veterans that we'll see last year as a wake-up call and maybe spend a little less time watching college football, a little less time in the deer stand, and put the time in to hone their craft to make a comeback. But if they just think they're just going to run it back and do it like they did last year and things are going to change, I don't know that that's going to happen. All right, we're going to kill TikTok. Nobody's there. Just IG and the main platforms now. My understanding is Swindell's fishing MPFL and the Elite Series. I don't think any of the anglers that were added, all the big names, are leaving now. And no, they published the roster. Swindle's still on that roster. The anglers that are leaving, I had a list. I don't know where it is. It might be on my other computer. It's like Cliff Prince isn't coming back. Rick Clunn's not coming back. Mike Huff. Trying to remember who the other. John Sukup wasn't coming back. He didn't requalify. Wentland retired. Frank Talley. There wasn't any like super. I mean, Wentland retired. Yeah, Cliff Prince already said. He's probably one of the bigger names because he won a blue trophy last year. I could look at the AOI standings of 2023 or 2024 and probably figure it out here. The AOI standings is missing from the website right now. It must be redoing it. Nick says, I think you'll see Fighter and Airy in the top 8 of AOI this year, and it's going to be close down to day 3 of final tournament. Any 5 could win doing the last tournament. I'm trying to remember who all the other anglers that were coming back. I did a short. There's like a YouTube short. There's an Instagram reel that I ran through them all. Yeah, I like to see the well-known names in the MPFL. I think MPFL needs to just throw their tournaments and their live coverage out on YouTube so people can see them, because I just think that barrier to entry of watching it on MPFL.com or the fixed TV app is cumbersome, and it's on Webster's one of them. Joseph Webster. Brandon Polnick, is he fishing MPFL? I haven't seen an announcement on the MPFL roster. So yeah, Todd Otten, Rick Lund, Clint Davis, Derek Hudnall, Kobe Krieger, Cliff Pence, John Sukup, Joseph Webster, Frank Talley, and Clark Wentland are the 11 anglers not coming back for Bassmaster. And so that's 10 that didn't requalify, and then Clark Wentland retired, which doesn't seem like Clark Wentland leaving saved anybody. What's up, Norsetter? See you. Is MPFL going to make it after the last divorce? I mean, there was a fight, and it wasn't worried about another divorce. Not sure what that is. Debacle. Yeah. I think they'll be fine. I don't think that was too big of a hiccup, but we'll see. Any other questions about classic winner? Suppose we could do a classic winner. Ooh. I didn't really write this one down ahead of time. Kind of going off the cuff here. We know Clay Williamson's picking Ben Milliken as his pick, so I don't want to take that one. I think I'm going to go on a limb, and I'm going to take Easton Fothergill as the classic champ. I mean, Zaldane has definitely put his time in. He lives close, but I'm going to go. You know, because he had a solid Grand Lake. The stage won't be big for him. Clay says Taku, which he really means Milliken. Trevor says Livesey. That'd be a fun one. I'm getting to the after party in Fort Worth would be amazing if Livesey won. Jay Lee, that would be a fun one. I mean, there's a lot of guys that we would like to see win the Classic, but who do you think's really going to win the Classic, right? Jay Lee is a huge favorite, Lee King says. Seth is not in the Ray Roberts Classic, and he cannot get in at this point, I'm aware of. I'm pretty sure he's not, right? I don't think Fighter made the cut this year. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Thomas Hines says he's going to take Zaldane. Man, let's be honest, Trey would be insufferable if Chris won the Classic. I saw somebody else bring up this point quite a while ago, Jim, and I think taking front-facing Zoner out of the Classic would actually be kind of a cool thing. Conrad, I am planning to go to the Classic. I mean, I don't have like reservations, travel plans yet, but that's my Mike Duff says Milliken's a good bet. Yeah, Taku's in. He definitely finished high enough. I'm pretty sure. Lee King says Cooper Gallant. You and uh, Mike, I did see your note earlier. ORC Distribution Center. All right, I'll need to like remember that. I don't have a bunch of live stream guests penciled in. I need to actually work on that this week. I definitely have a few people like I have Steve Barden I've talked to, but haven't set a date. I talked to Alex Weatherall, who's on the Bass Rules Committee, Angler Committee, or whatever. Have him on. I mean, JT Tompkins on the roster that Bassmaster published. So I don't know there was any thought that he wasn't coming back. Prediction for the first Elite on the St. Johns River. And when is that? That's feel like it's earlier, later than normal. February 23rd. I feel like that's kind of early. Don't know if it'll be full spawn. There'll be some spawn. I don't remember when all the other St. John's tournaments have been. Oh, I'm going to take Drew Benton, sight fishing derb. Banger says Cruz. Chris Johnston. Does he talk about anything but deer hunting? Yeah, I'd like to see John Cox. That'd be awesome. What's up, JJ? The doc's in the house. Oh, does that conflict with you have a conflict with the 10K doesn't conflict with that, does it? Or is it during the off limits? I want Maddie back. Mendez has had some good tournaments. Yeah, John Cox is running a Vexa Center Council. I think that's pretty sweet. Yeah, 10K is in August, so and pool 9 overlaps waters, but I am not planning to fish a nation qualifier because I'm already qualified for lacrosse based on state last year, JJ. If I wasn't qualified, I definitely would be. That would have been a driving part of my plan, I think. Are you fishing the qualifiers? Yes, I know when it is. It's already circled on the calendar, JJ. Are you planning to fish qualifier? Robert, the boat's not sold. I just put it up like last week over like between Christmas and New Year's. I wasn't really expecting it to like sell, but if people know, I definitely would be anybody on the YouTube fam, Facebook live fam that comes up with a lead. I definitely would float them $500 for finding a buyer for sure. Yeah, I mean, Pickwick seems like a pretty cool one for a qualifier. The James River probably be a good fit your skill set, but I think Pickwick would too. Um, and then you could always have Erie in your back pocket if that doesn't go well. The Dream Team tumbler is getting a little empty. We're at an hour. Paul Mueller is still in the elites, yes. Speaking of Paul Mueller, if you've been on his Instagram, he's been out ice fishing. His beard is quite legendary at the moment. You guys could road trip together, travel together, save some money. Is it Eufaula, Oklahoma? Jim's going to his Possum Kingdom, Texas for their state qualifier. Good luck. I kind of liked Pickwick when I went there, but that was a couple years ago. I didn't like it as much as Pat Schlopper did. Ice fishing live stream. If somebody like Bart or Sobe or somebody else wants to invite me out for some ice fishing, I would be happy to live stream from there. But I don't have any of the stuff, and I'm not buying the stuff to go. Go catch them in the morning, Darius. We're not going much longer, anyways. The Tom Bigby does. I don't know if it flows in or out of Pickwick. Way on the west Mississippi end, they connect, but they're not always like there's a lock, and I don't know that they're always not always part of tournament waters. Bass Nation doesn't typically let people lock out of Pickwick. It usually Wilson and the other end are usually not in play. I have ice fished before. I ice fished quite a bit in high school and a little bit in college, and somehow my stuff disappeared. And I've never been motivated uh, to revisit. But yeah, so let's hope everybody catches their PBs this year. Every year I say I want to get better at swim baits, catch more fish on swim baits. Yeah. So that's all I got for tonight. Unless anybody else got any questions, do a last call for questions. If you came in late, we touched on the Dobbins thing earlier. We talked about my plans for next year and the channel and that kind of stuff back at the beginning of the show. So if you came in late, go check out the replay. You can replay Facebook, YouTube, MP3, whatever you want. And we're getting started on the first day of the year, streaming wise. So yeah, everybody buckle up for Sunday night. Pull for the Vikings to beat the Lions. And as always, here to help you guys catch more big bass and suck less. Thanks for Arsenal Fishing, Powerhouse Lithium supporting the show. And we'll try to get a guest lined up for next week. And I think I tentatively have a whatnot stream scheduled for Saturday if I can keep motivated to get my stuff. It's too late. We're already past that point in the night, Berg. Lynn, sorry. Should have asked that 10 minutes ago. We're signing off. Thanks, everybody. Be good. Be safe. Stay warm. We'll see you next week.